What is up, everyone? So today I am going to be making a video on the top 10 best simulator games of all time. Now this is going across literally every period of Roblox time, but most of the stuff took light mainly between 2018 to 2021, so a lot of these main games are gonna be pretty recent, so you probably know about them. But yeah, let's get right into the video. In the 10th place, we have Driving Simulator. Now this game is a chaotic and fun way to just play around with the cars, and it's overall a really fun time. Honestly, it has pretty great graphics, and it's just kind of fun to go mess around, drive around, but if you want to play that more competitively or seriously, then there are quests and other sorts of things like that. So it does have a lot to offer game-wise, and yeah, if you do get invested in it, it can be a really fun experience. But yeah, on to the next spot. Next up, we have YouTube Simulator. Now, this one, while not being the most creative, it is still a pretty fun experience in my opinion. So basically what you do is you go in, you get recording with your camera, and then what you can do is you can go head to your studio, and then you can go and do editing, and while yeah, that part is not really the most interesting, it's really just all of the decoration and all the time and effort and how clean the game really looks that puts it above other simulator games in quality, I guess you could say, because a lot of simulator games just have the idea of churning stuff out as fast as possible, so it's nice to see quality and effort put into it, and that's why I really do appreciate all of this game. But yeah, on to the 8th place position. In the 8th place position, we have Superpower Training Simulator. Now, I would get gameplay for this, but unfortunately it is not available for mobile devices at the moment, and honestly I don't think that's going to change. But that doesn't stop me from still being able to talk about it. Now, this is a game focused around gaining power to go and fight around the city. Now, you can either be a good person or a bad person, and honestly, it is a pretty fun game. Just some of the quests are absolutely ridiculous to do. That is one of the main flaws with this game, but the main thing about this is that it had, for whatever reason, it was just everywhere for a short amount of time. Like, it was at the top of the game pages, it was all over YouTube, and I don't know, I just couldn't feel it would be right to make a video without at least mentioning it in some light. But yeah, if you do have it on PC, you can check it out. Personally, it's not my favorite, but you never know, you could find some enjoyment out of it. Next up, we have Cleaning Simulator. Now, this is a game based around cleaning things around, I don't know, a city or a house, something like that. Honestly, I haven't played too much of this, but honestly, it is all over Roblox from what I've seen, and the graphics are absolutely amazing in this game. It is honestly a grand experience, and it's kind of like being in VR but on your phone. Now, at the same time, it does get a bit bland from what I've heard, but still really fun game nonetheless, and I would check it out. In the 6th place position, we have Mining Simulator. Now, this was one of the very, very first Roblox simulator games, and that is why it had such an impact on the community. It pretty much created the genre, and while I don't think it was the very first, I am sure that it had a lasting impact, creating new concepts of how this could be put into light. Now, honestly, while this game is very, very iconic, it's not very good long-term. Like, there are much better quality ones, but it really just created the entire genre, basically. So I do recommend you check it out, just give it a try, see what created the current simulator games. And yeah, on to the next position. In the 5th place position, we have Pet Simulator. Now, this is one of the most popular simulator games of all time, and personally, I don't think it's that good. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, saying it is one of the best games of all time. I just don't really like the developers, but besides that, it is one of the most popular games of simulator genre to ever exist. Now, while I look back and the gameplay is really bland, it had an enormous impact on the community all over YouTube, the main game, and everything like that. It is just a really, really historical game that I thought that we should mention at least once. But don't worry, this will not be the end of big games being on this list, so don't fret too much. In 4th place, we have Tower Defense Simulator. Now, this game is another absolutely game changer. Now, this created a whole nother subgenre of defending with little troop type people. Now, this game is very, very popular, but the thing that sets it apart is, again, that it created a whole subgenre of tower defense. Now, that is something very difficult to pull off, and it's quite impressive that they created a genre inside of a genre. And honestly, the gameplay is pretty fun. I cannot blame them for creating it. And yeah, I do recommend you go check it out. It is a lot of fun to play. Before we get to the top 3 simulator games, I want to discuss some honorable mentions that didn't really make the cut, but were still some really cool games nonetheless. First off, we have Ragdoll Simulator, which is just a fun little sandbox game. You can go mess around, it has it on VR, it's pretty fun. Next up is Laundry Simulator, which is also another really fun game. And I will list off a few others that you might want to check out if you have time. But yeah, with that being said, let's move on to the top 3 best simulator games of all time. In the 3rd place position, we have Pet Simulator X, the newest game from Big Games. Now, this is one of the most popular games at the time of recording this, and it is just absolutely blown up. I will admit, this is the only Big Games game that I would spend money on. It is a really, really fun, addicting game, and it is just at the top of all the leaderboards charts right now, and it is just such an improvement to the first and second Pet Simulator. There is a second Pet Simulator, I didn't mention it because it was so terrible. It was one of the most grindy games ever, but yeah, it is such an improvement upon the last 2 games, and it honestly deserves a lot of what it has right now. In 2nd place, we have an absolute masterpiece known as Bee Swarm Simulator. This is one of the most creative and magnificent games of its time, and it is a completely unique game. I have seen no game that has done almost anything similar to this before it, besides like Snow Shoveling Simulator, but that does not at all compete with this game. It is an absolutely magnificent experience, and I used to play this all the time, and it was so much fun. It is honestly a fantastic game, and you should really check it out. It seems really, really boring, but it progresses as you go and becomes one of the greatest experiences ever. And in the 1st place position, we have, in my opinion, the greatest simulator game of all time, Bubble Gum Simulator. Now, this game has so much to offer. It starts off with you just blowing bubbles, selling it, getting upgrades and stuff like that, but then it evolves into hatching pets, which ups your stats, and eventually you can become one of the greatest players, getting these secret pets, which are pets that don't show up on the eggs, and it is honestly just so much to unpack. I know so much about it because I've been playing it so much. honestly one of the best games of all time. Besides just being the best simulator game, it is one of the best games of all time, and you should absolutely give it some time and try it out. While the updates are lacking, I think that they're gonna start updating it more and it's gonna become something great, not that it already isn't. So yeah, go check this out, and yes, this is the greatest simulator game of all time in my opinion. Now let's go to the outro or wrap up or whatever you'd call it. Thank you all so much for watching to the end of the video. It means the world, and I hope that you did at least find some cool games that you can go and try out later. This is one of my longest videos of all time, in regards of being actually edited, because I have some long ones that are unedited. But yeah, I put a lot of time and effort into this, and it means a world that you watched all the way to the end. Thank you all so much for that. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.